Yeah. All right. So here's the thing. Mrs. Urbis and I have been talking about some different things that you guys know how to do as readers. And we were talking about some things that we know we want to still teach you about how to do as readers. And one thing that we were talking about is how we talk and think about books. So that's kind of what this group is going to be about for a little bit. So I'm going to teach you some things that you can do when you're thinking about books and when you're talking together about books. All right, so here's the thing. All right, so first thing I want to teach you is when we're having conversations together, we're going to think about this little guy up here. He's a seal, right? So the first thing I want to do is when we're talking, we want to have a good stature, like I don't want to be on the ground or whatever. And I know
Like
you all will be able to do that. Yeah, we have to have good posture when we're talking together. The other thing is the E, S-E-A-L, is spelled seal, right? The E means our eyes are always on the person who's talking. Why do you think that's important? Why do I want to have my eyes?
Because when you're looking around, they ask you a question like this here, what did I just say? And I'll be like,
Yeah. And sometimes we can be looking away, like when Mrs. Urbis was just reading to you. I noticed some people were like looking down, but I know you were still listening to her.
yeah.
But when we're talking together, like I want to make sure when you're talking that you know I'm listening. So
That's not being respectful.
if you're like looking down, we don't want to do that. And I have our chairs like this for a reason. So it's easy for us to look at each other when we're
Like we
talking.
could pass around.
So we're going to sit up, we're going to have eyes on the person talking. Our attention's going to be here in the group, all attention to the group, and we're going to listen to each other talk. Now, when I know that you have heard me, when you can answer back, or you can tell me what I said, or you could add on to something that I said, that's how I know that we hear each other. Okay? So we're going to be practicing that in the next times. So here's the thing is we're also going to be reading books together. I'm going to be showing you some things in books that will help you because it's not just about the words. Did you know that?
No.
Sometimes people just like to just read the words.
It does all the pictures and like the words that it's colored black, like
Oh.
black, bold
So
words.
you definitely know some things about how books work. I'm going to show you more things about how we can really make our brains remember and know what's being read. Because did you know the punctuation matters, doesn't it? We have commas, we have exclamation marks, we have capital letters, we have quotation marks. All of those things matter when we're reading periods. Yes.
I got something else to add. Even this whole group right here, we have a book and it's called Nelson Kidnap. This whole group right here, so we're already a group.
All right. All right, so today we're going to use a book called, we're going to be using a book called Oliver and the Bird Feeder today. Okay? Now, the thing that we'll do is we're going to read part of this book and think and talk about part of this book today, but we're not going to come back to it until Friday, and I'm hoping that you will finish the last part of the book before we come back. Okay? So I'll assign you a little bit of the book to read on your own too. All right. Okay, so today, here's what our goal is. First of all, we are going to make sure that we talk and use this. The second goal is when we talk together, we're going to be learning different, I call them conversation stems. And all that means is when I'm thinking about making a prediction, which I know you guys know and have done before, I might start like this. What might happen is, then someone knows that I'm making a prediction. If I say this, what might happen is you are going to go, oh, Mrs. Hanish is making a prediction. Okay?
Elaboration.
Yeah, elaboration. That's kind of a big word, isn't it?
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Yeah, what do you think it means to elaborate?
That's word. It's like, I think this because it's really cute, awesome.
Okay, so when you elaborate, you are telling why you think something. So I'm gonna, as we're working together, if you just say this, what might happen is I'm going to say, uh-oh, you need to elaborate. And that means you need to tell me why you're thinking
So
it.
you're giving a reason why do you think, like we
Yeah.
wrote this morning, what is our favorite breakfast, and we had to tell why we
So
liked
you
it.
were being asked
That's
to
good.
elaborate. All right. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so we're going to start today with just looking at the title, the cover, and I'm going to read you the first page.
Yes.
When I do that, is that okay to be here? I didn't sign up. All right, so when we do that, girls, when we look at the title and we look at the front cover and we read the first page, it gives us enough information to be able to
Predict.
and then
Elaborate.
All right, so I'm going to start today. I'm going to give you what I think I would.
Okay, so we
All right.
write something over.
Not yet. Today, mostly this is going to be just like talking, but you know, if you learn how to do this, you can use this when you write too. Yeah, what might happen is, I think that because, all right, so here we go. The title is Oliver and the Bird Feeder. I see Oliver. This is, I'm sure, Oliver. And in this story, the two characters are Oliver and Mom. The mom. Those are the two characters. The birds are in the story, but they aren't the main character.
Oh.
Okay.
I think Oliver is the main character, and his mother is like the secondary character.
Oh,
like text features.
You just learned that. You know what? As we're reading, we'll see. So what you just did is you made a prediction. I think, so instead of what might happen, you said, I think that Oliver is the main character. And did you say Mom is the secondary character? So tell me, say, I think this because.
I think this because we just learned about it. So the main character is not like the secondary character because the secondary character is not really in the story that much.
Okay, so now, why do you think Oliver is the main character? Why do you think that?
Because it says Oliver in the bird feeder.
Because it's on the title? That was a good prediction. Yeah, because Oliver's name is in the title. So
How would he be the bird?
we're going to have to see.
He
Do you have
probably
something more?
wants to eat the bird.
Oh, I think it because I think Oliver is the main character because Oliver is the one who's starting the story.
Okay, so he's in the first part of the story. Okay. So I like how you're making predictions and you're telling me why you think that. All right, so I'm going to read the first page. And then we're going to make some predictions using this about what we think what's going to happen in the story. All right, so the title is Oliver and the Bird Feeder. Let me read the first page for you. Oh, I see Oliver in the picture, so I got to look at that. That's going to help me. It looks like he's looking out the window.
For birds.
All right. Each day, Oliver would spend hours sitting by the window, gazing out at the birds. Oliver loved to watch the birds eating the seeds from Mom's bird feeder. All kinds of birds would land on the bird feeder. They all chirped happily as they pecked away at the bird seed.
Oh.
I think what might happen in this story is Oliver might scare the birds away. I think this because I know that cats and birds don't get along very well. Okay, so that's my prediction and my elaboration. Who else would like to try? Okay, I'm going to have you give a prediction. You can use this language, okay?
What might happen is he might tell Mom that all the birds ate all the bird seeds and they go fill up the bird feeder.
Okay, now elaborate.
I think that's because Oliver is looking out the window.
Okay, so she thinks that what she said because she sees Oliver looking out the window. Nice job elaborating.
Okay, they don't
Hey,
like
Tamara.
that. I don't like that. That's a lot.
What might happen is
I think what might happen is he's like
Yes, they always
the door.
do.
He's gonna. I think
We
he's
always
gonna
do
jump on the
so
window
long.
because it looks like the window.
oh, so you think he might jump out the window?
Yeah.
So did you say, I think he might jump out the window? I think this because,
Do it. You don't have to tell me.
And so you know that cats like to chase birds, and because you you see it open. Okay, so what the easy part is, girls, is to tell what might happen. What the harder part is to tell, like, why did I think of it? Okay, all right. So we are going to read the first pages of this, but a couple more things that I want us to pay attention to. Sometimes when we're reading, there are a lot of quotation marks in the words. What does that mean when you see quotation marks,
I
Chama?
mean, like, they're talking, like, slowly.
Okay, well, it doesn't even really have to be slowly, but it just means someone in the story is talking, right? And on this page, we might, if we saw quotation marks, who might we think is the one talking?
Oliver.
Oliver. Do you see any quotation marks?
No. Wait, yes.
You see?
By day.
You know what? That is a comma. But you know what, Charlotta? I'm glad you pointed that out because that is important too.
Yes.
When you see that, that means the words before that I have to put together like this. Each day, pause. Oliver would spend hours sitting by the window gazing out at the birds.
What's Daisy?
I love that you said that. That is the other thing we're going to do. Okay?
I think
You want to
gazing
know-
is like staring,
Okay, I'm going to put gazing on this little mark here
and I can't.
because we have to know. Yeah, I'm going to put it in here. Gazing was a word that we weren't sure about because we have to know what words mean, don't we? All right, so you're making a prediction about what you think gazing means. I think gazing means, what did you say?
Staring,
Staring. And why do you think that?
because he's like this standing still. I think he's like spying on the birds.
Okay, and you see it in the picture. He's standing still. So I think this because Oliver's like staring out the window, right?
He's staying still,
Okay.
like still.
All right. So we have a comma, which means we pause. We stop when there's a word we're not sure about. And I'm glad you stopped me. So if you come across any words as you're reading, I'm going to give you these sticky notes, and I want you to do that. Okay. All right. So each day, pause. Oliver would spend hours sitting by the window, gazing out at the birds. Oliver looked to watch. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Oliver loved to watch the birds eating the seeds from Mom's bird feeder. All kinds of birds would land on the bird feeder. They all chirped happily as they pecked away at the bird seed. All right, now, I think you guys know what chirped means, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now, here's the thing. Do you see? I'm going to give you each your own book now, and you're going to look at this page together, page 4. Those around.
Oh, this is.
It was on my warm lap. Okay, turn to page 4. And I want you to see if anybody's talking on that page. Do you see any quotation marks?
Right here? Oh, right here.
Okay, so she sees this mark right here. Is that a quotation mark or is that a comma?
Comma. I see one already.
Do you see some quotation marks on this page?
The question mark.
Okay, they're going to look like this, right?
A
Okay,
question
guess what? There are no quotation marks on that page. That means none of the characters are talking. Only the author is telling us the story. Okay? Now, do you see any commas?
No.
That's an exclamation mark.
Comma.
That means excited feeling,
Commas.
right? Do you see commas? Okay,
I
show
see,
me
like-
some commas.
I see 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. I see 4 commas.
All right. Do you see any other punctuation marks?
5.
What else do you see on that page?
Yeah. 6 periods.
Do you see periods? Okay, what else? What's that one
Question
called?
marks. Question marks.
Question mark. Okay, all of those matter when we read. When I see this comma right here, how would I read these two words?
One morning.
One morning, and then I pause. And also that usually in this book, it has a lot of places where it tells us when things happen. When is this first part of the story happening? In the morning, right? One morning. All right, let's read this together, okay? One morning, Oliver settled down near the window to watch the birds outside. After a while, he yawned and fell asleep. Has time passed?
Yes.
It's in the morning. Then it says, After a while, that tells us a little time passed, right? All right, let's read the next part. A while later, Oliver woke up and peered outside.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
Did you guys wonder that too? Okay.
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna-
think I know what it is.
All right, so I'm gonna write peered on my sticky note. Actually, I'm gonna have you write peered on here while we're talking about it, okay? Peered. Let's read it in that sentence and see if we can figure it out. A while later, Oliver woke up and peered outside. What do you think, Chama?
He ran outside.
Let's see. Oliver woke up and peered. It could be he ran outside. What else could it mean?
He was staring outside.
Staring outside. Could it mean that too? Okay. Whoa. So Oliver woke up and peered outside. And then it says, let's keep reading and see if we can figure out whether it's he ran outside or if he was looking outside. Yep. So Oliver woke up and peered outside. To his surprise, all the bird seed was gone. All right. So it doesn't really tell us, but I'm going to tell you something. Peered does mean like staring. So we have two words now that were like staring. Peered and gazing, right?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right.
I know what that means.
So all the bird seed was gone. All right, now let's go to the next page. Mom had filled the bird feeder just that morning. Had the birds eaten all the seeds while he was napping? Usually, it took days for the birds to eat up all the seeds.
To eat up all this.
Yeah, all right. All right, so there's a problem that's going on already, isn't there? Let's read the last line. First, the blue jays would flock to the feeder and eat the sunflower seeds. Now, let's think about it. Are there any words there that you're not sure about?
Flock.
You guys, are you wondering about flock? Or do you know what that
I
means?
think I don't know. I think.
You want to like, okay,
Oh,
will
I
you
know
write
what it
flock
I think
down?
I know. Bird. It's like a.
Okay, let's read it and see if we can figure out what it would mean. First, the blue jays would flock to the feeder.
I think like fly to the feeder.
I think you're right. Like they're flying
Like,
in a
let's-
big group. They would
Let's
flock.
let's see if that like we don't use flock. Like let's see if
First,
we use
okay. First, the blue jays would fly in a group to the feeder and eat the sunflower seeds. Yeah, it does mean they're flying in a group. Flock means not just one bird, lots of birds.
like
Okay.
geese like hibernate.
Yeah. Okay, so now before we move on, what is the problem so far? There's no more bird seed. Okay, so let's make some predictions and elaborations. Okay? Do you have a prediction? And make sure you say, I think this is it.
What might happen is mom is going to put more bird seeds. I think this because there's no bird seeds.
Me too.
Okay, so that would be, you're predicting like the next thing that would happen is mom would fill up the bird feeder and you think that because there's no more bird seed in there, okay? What, are you thinking the same or?
Yeah. What might happen is, you know what she said, where it's a human mom? I think it's a human mom because
Only
cats, mom cannot really like get stuff by herself.
Okay,
Even
okay.
because it shows like some of like this.
All right. Okay, so you guys, I'm gonna have you say it in just a second. What I'm also seeing you doing, which is awesome, and this is a piece that we're definitely gonna do. I don't have it up here, but I'm gonna add it tomorrow because you're already doing it. Is we are adding on to each other's thinking. That's what good conversations are. Like you going, I agree with her, or I think that also, because so you are already doing that. That's great. Okay, so did you have a prediction that was a little different?
Well, I don't think birds only eat bird feeders, but sometimes squirrels eat bird feeders.
All right, so what do you predict? With that information, what might happen?
I think
What might happen is,
what might happen is I think the squirrel would Squirrels. Squirrels would eat the bird seed, and there will be no more bird seed left. And I think Oliver would gaze at it and probably chase it.
Okay, so why is it that you think that the squirrels, what do you know about squirrels? What do you know about
They
birds?
hibernate, so they need something to eat.
Okay, so you're thinking that the squirrels took the bird seed, and you think that because you know squirrels sometimes jump on bird feeders and eat bird seed, okay? All right.
Cranes.
Okay, we're going to read one more page, and I want you to think about a few different things. One, do you see any talking marks?
No.
Is anybody talking or just the author?
Author.
The author. Do you see any other punctuation marks?
Yes.
What do you see?
I see question mark.
I see a question mark too, so we know there's going to be a question. Do you see anything else?
A comma.
I see a comma. What do we do when we get to a comma?
We pause,
Pause,
and
yeah.
take a deep breath.
Take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
See
Then
words
we-
right here? There's a comma right there.
Gone.
Gone. Okay. All right, so we're also going to see if any more time passed. Okay, so we had one morning, we had a while later.
Oh,
All right. Did you find already?
A while.
How many? I told you. How many birds had come while he had been napping?
That was the question you found?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So what I want you to do this time, read this page to yourself. Okay, you can whisper read it.
What the fool?
Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to stop here. I'm going to give you some sticky notes of your own to take with you as you're reading the rest of the story. So I want you to read the rest, and on Friday we'll come back together and we'll see if we can, if there are any words that you're not sure of. Okay, and we'll talk about them, and then we'll see about our predictions, and then do something more on that day. Okay. What do you think? How many do you think you might be? I'll just give you a little bitty stack, and you can stick it right in your book. See if there's any words that you're not sure of.
These are little birds. Like little birds, finches are little birds.
Okay, you're right. They were, and the reason I wasn't having you do it because I wanted them to know how to reread and think about it.